This is Scoreboard with Chris Titley. Powered by Swiftex. Where can crypto take you?
Hi, it's Chris Titley here, and on today's episode of Scoreboard, the podcast, I am joined by Jordan Buckingham. Jordan, thanks so much, mate, for having a chat today.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Mate, we're sitting here on Tuesday, the 5th of May, 2026. How's your 2026 been?
Yeah, outstanding, to be honest. We had a good win in the Sheffield Shield about a month or two back now. So, that was great fun to obviously go back-to-back for the first time in South Australia's history was pretty cool. And then, just had a bit of downtime back home in Melbourne the last few weeks. So, it's been a good start to 2026.
What does a professional cricketer do in their downtime?
A lot of hobbies, a lot of golf, a lot of paddle. We try and stay fit. Probably not as fit as your AFL footballers and your rugby league guys and whatnot, but we do our best there. But I think a lot of guys are keen golfers, and we've discovered this new sport called paddle, and it's taken off over here in Adelaide.
Yeah, no, it across Asia and across the world, actually, paddle's taken off. How do you rate yourself as a paddle player?
Well, I hope none of the boys watch this. I like to think I'm okay. But no, there's a couple of really nice players. I think all the batters have got that natural hand-eye coordination, so they're freaks at it, to be honest. And I just try and hold my own down the back of the court there.
Mate, and reflecting on 2026 and the back-to-back Shield wins, what do you take away from it? What do you learn from it? And what are you thinking about moving forward into the coming season?
First and foremost, we'll go 3 in a row, hopefully. That'd be great. I think it's a lot of years of list turnover here at South Australia. When I first got here, we lost a lot of senior players and brought some guys in from interstate, which is what we had to do, I think. So I think it's a bit of a reward for 4 or 5 years of toil and hard work. And I remember when we first got here, we were celebrating drawing games, and now we're celebrating 2 trophies in a row. So things have changed a fair bit, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a great last couple of years.
And mate, do you want to talk about your journey from Victoria to South Australia, how that came about, and sort of your youth cricket journey?
Yeah, I think like most young guys growing up in Melbourne, I sort of juggled AFL football and cricket. So I love footy a lot, and I still do. I'm a very keen Hawthorn man, so I follow that quite closely. But I think when I realised I wasn't good enough to play AFL footy around that 17 or 18 years old, I sort of had a good chat with my dad, and we sort of threw all our eggs into the cricket basket. And I was lucky enough to make my first grade debut at Greenvale Kangaroos in the Vic Premier Cricket, and then moved across to Footscray a couple of years later, and strung together some good years of first 11 cricket, I guess. And then I was lucky enough to get recruited by South Australia on a rookie contract by Sean Williams, who was a former Footscray player. He got me over here, and since then it's my 5th season now, and I've absolutely loved it over here.
The move from Victoria to South Australia has been done before many a time, and vice versa. How did you go about with the new city, the new team, and growing up playing for a state that you're probably not in your dreams early on when you were younger?
Yeah, it was obviously quite different. Sort of made a pact with my mum and dad. If I got a contract offered anywhere, I'd take it. I think it was a great opportunity. It was a lot of years of toil there in Victoria, and sort of not getting a look in there. So to come over here to Adelaide, it's a beautiful city. It's very quiet compared to Melbourne. No such thing as peak hour or anything over here. So it's worked out really well. And I guess obviously growing up in Victoria, your dreams to represent Victoria, but for me it was the second best thing, and now it's something I look back and I'm really grateful to play for South Australia, because cricket and sport in Adelaide means a lot to the locals here, and we've probably seen that around the finals.
Yeah, mate, and your Sheffield Shield and first class journey in regards to being selected and then wanting to be part of the team, and then feeling belonging to the team, and then being a sort of a senior leader in the team, even though you're still young. How did you go with that in regards to maybe the early days around just wanting to get selected and giving everything your best shot?
Yeah, good question. I think I had a lot of mentors that are still playing. I'm quite lucky to lean on guys like Nathan McAndrew and Brendan Doggett, who have both gone on to higher honours in the last few seasons. But I guess for me, at a young age, when you first come into the squad, you just want to learn. You try and ask a lot of questions of the senior guys. You try and be open to changing, be open to doing something different. And probably the big turning point for me was I'm very, very focused now on being process driven compared to what's happening on the scorecard. So I guess I sort of say be where my feet are in a way. So I feel like if you're bowling well from one end and someone else is getting the reward, as long as you're getting the 20 wickets in the game, then I guess you're doing your job. So I guess the way I looked at it is, how can I do what's best for the team and how can I make the team win? And then the individual stuff will look after itself. And that sort of helped me transition from a fringe player to someone who I like to think is in the best string bowling attack.
It's interesting you mentioned that when you ask players how they went in cricket, and I've played cricket all my life, that was sort of like, oh, how do you go on the weekend? And the reaction comes out, oh, I got 45, or I nicked one and I got 13, versus like, oh, the team won. How did you go when someone asks you, how do you go on the weekend? What do you say?
I reckon 4 years ago, I would have told you my stats as well, but I think I've transitioned in the last few years to winning, and I think that helps. And our coach, Ryan Harris, always said a winning team will produce Australian players. So I just think that, yeah, being really, I guess, focused on the process and what I'm doing from my end, and if I'm not getting the reward, as long as the guy at the other end is, I think we've built a bowling attack around being pretty unselfish and knowing our roles and playing them at the time. So yeah, for me, it's more focus on how do I help the team win the game first, and then what my figures look like after the game, I can reflect on that. But yeah, that's the way I go about it.
Has there been a time when you have got none for something or one for a few or whatever it might be that you did bowl really, really well and you're very happy with your performance? And how do you go with that when it might not be the 5 or 6 fers?
Yeah, I think all the time. I guess being a bowler, there's a lot of uncontrollables. You can have drop catches. You can bowl good balls that don't get wickets. You can hit a bloke on the pads and the umpire thinks it's not out and you might think it's out. So there's a lot of uncontrollables. So I just try and focus on what I'm doing. But yeah, I reckon there's a number of times where I've got no wickets or 1 wicket. And then there's other times where I've got 5 or 6 wickets and I feel like I bowl better when I've got no wickets. So that's the reality of the game. That's the reality of being a bowler. So for me, I think looking forward, I guess it's a good learning curve for a junior cricketer, that sometimes you're probably toiling away and you're not getting the wickets you'd like, and but your team's winning. I think it's pretty important to stay, I guess, focused on the path of winning and not what you're doing, because they'll look after themselves eventually, the stats.
And when it comes to emotion on the cricket field, you're quite, I suppose, you show a lot of emotion. How do you deal with that? Does it drive you on? Is there, with a bit of banter as well? Is there something out there that keeps you ticking to kind of, lift you up in the big moments?
Yeah, I love it. I think a lot of guys sort of, we've got a pretty reserved team, probably apart from Ben Menenti and myself, we're quite out there on the field. I don't know, the way I look at it for me is I think everyone playing first class cricket's really talented. So how can I get an extra edge on the batter or the opposition? So for me, that's trying to get into the contest. I feel like I perform on my best when I guess I'm up and about, when I'm in the batter's face, when I'm, I guess, not so much vocal out there, but I guess my presence feels felt in a way. A lot of guys are different. A lot of guys, Nathan McAndrew doesn't really say much. He's pretty calm and reserved out there. And I think everyone's different, but yeah, for me, I just love that competitive side of it, especially when you come up against good players. Like I've had some pretty good battles with Marnus Labuschagne across the years, and yeah, I think he's a similar competitor. So we sort of clash on the field, but got the utmost respect for him as a cricketer, and I love playing against him.
And do you find are you a confident person?
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah, quietly confident. I wouldn't say I'm a guy who rolls around and I don't back myself at all. I certainly do. But I feel like, yeah, a lot of hard work's gone into the last 4 or 5 years. So you've got a reason to be confident and walk on the field and I guess back your own ability.
And then when it comes to patience, cricket's a patient game. Are you a patient person?
Oh, depends who you ask, I reckon. I'll consider and say yes, and then you could ask a few other people, and they'll say he's absolutely not. So, yeah, I feel like another thing that's evolved and got better over the years is patience, definitely. Sometimes you want things to happen really quickly, and you want to have 4 or 5 wickets in the first session, or you want to win a game on day three. But sometimes you got to toil away and realize that, yeah, um, you might not win a game to the end of day four or whatever it is, or yeah, I guess in terms of your performance, you'll get the reward eventually.
You talked about being confident when you've done the work, and you've done the work over the last 4 to 5 years. What are some things you feel like that you've ticked off in terms of the work and the preparation into these things to actually feel like that you're in each contest?
I feel like in the background, I've worked a lot on the mental side of the game. I spoke a little bit before about I think everyone's pretty talented in first class cricket, and we're all here for a reason. But I try and find the extra edge with I guess, the confidence on the field and the way I hold myself on the field. So we've done a lot of work with sports psychs and I guess mental coaches around what that's like on the field and how do I get right to the I guess the top of the curve or to the line without overstepping it. I feel like early in my career I would have had a few times where I would have had a few small blow ups on the field or whatnot that probably didn't look great from the sidelines. So how can I really get to that point where I'm right in the contest, but it doesn't affect the way I perform on the field? So I'd say that's the biggest change. There's obviously a lot of technical things being a fast bowler at times and changes with your action and whatnot. But yeah, I guess for me, focusing on that side of the game has been pretty essential for my development and performance over the last 3 or 4 years.
And if there's one little small win that you can share to other prosperity cricketers or prosperous cricketers out there, just a little easy hack that maybe from a mental side of point of view that has changed from your angle and that's benefited you?
Probably take the scoreboard out of it, I reckon. Worry about what you're doing then and there on the pitch and worry about what your role is in the team right there. And if you've got a winning attitude and you want to focus on winning the game and not worrying about getting 5 or 6 wickets every innings, then I think that'll hold you in really good stead, I guess, moving forward. So probably, be the best team player you can be and take the scoreboard out of it.
And then when it comes to big moments in the game, nerve-wracking, it's coming down to the wire, you've got an important spell. Do you enjoy those big moments? What do you think about those big moments?
Yeah, I love it. I think as a kid, you watch cricket and you watch footy and you watch all these sports and all the high pressure moments. I guess you want to be in them. You want to be the one to win your team a game, and you want to be the one to take the final wicket. So, for me, I probably if I get tossed the ball in that situation, which I have a few times, just be grateful for where I am and what I'm doing, and probably try and reflect back quickly 10 years and when I was sitting there watching and I was the kid hanging over the fence asking for autographs and whatnot. So I probably think about all that and then just let the rest take care of itself.
Are you, when it comes to clear thinking and your good performances, do you look back on those good performances and work out what you did before the game or some other items that actually, can be repetitive to basically, replicate some of those good performances, or not really?
No, I do, definitely. I would say I wouldn't sit there and watch a lot of footage from a good performance. Obviously, you're lucky enough these days with social media, you see wickets and whatnot online and all that sort of stuff. But it's more about what I did leading into the game. Did I do something differently to when I probably didn't bowl as well as I would have liked, or was it purely luck? Sometimes luck's a funny thing when you're a bowler in cricket. You can, as I said, you can bowl really well and not get wickets, and then you can probably get lucky and get a few wickets when you haven't bowled as well. So, I probably just try and tick a few things off there in regards to my lead into the game, warm-up, preparation, training during the week. But I wouldn't say I sit there and watch highlights of my good stuff all the time, but you do rehash over it if you need to.
Are you superstitious?
Nah, not too much. We've got a few superstitious guys in the team, but I try and steer clear of that, and I hope I don't become superstitious one day because it looks quite annoying at times.
What do you want to share? Any nameless?
No, I'll name him. Big Wesy Agar. He's quite superstitious. he likes rolling out the same socks each day if he bowls well. So yeah, by the end of the day, it's pretty grim sitting next to him. That's for sure.
And so you mentioned about like the team succeeding and then the individual uplift, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to goal setting at the start of the year or whatnot, obviously the goal would be to win a Shield final. Do you think about that? Do you talk about that, or is it game by game? And then from an individual point of view, how do you align your individual goals perhaps with the team?
Yeah, firstly with, I guess, individual goals, I just definitely try not to make them stat-based. Obviously, they're out of my control. So, for an example, I'm not going to have a goal where I want to get 40 wickets this year. It might be I want to bowl into match-winning situations, or I want to, in any way I can help the team win a game. So I might have a goal relating to that. But then you always look towards the team goals, and we've got some team values and whatnot that we uphold to, and we try and hush over them throughout the season. But I guess for us, it's just about continually putting ourselves in winning positions in games, and when we're not in a winning position, how can we fight hard to get back into a winning position? So I feel like the attitude change across the last 2 or 3 years, from how can we compete games to how can we win games, has come a long way here at the Saka, and I guess we relate all our goals and values and whatnot to that point.
In the life of a professional cricketer, there's options to go to the UK, which a lot of cricketers do, and then there's options to play short form with different tournaments around the world. How are you thinking about cricket in the future and your own game and adapting to various styles?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough the last couple of seasons to head over to the UK. I went to Northamptonshire, then I went to Yorkshire last year, which was good fun. Yorkshire's obviously got quite a nice contingent of England players, so that was a great experience. Unfortunately, I got injured. I went pretty early in the season, straight after our Shield season last year, so it was disappointing. But it's something towards the back end of my career that I'd love to go back and be able to do. I think guys like McAndrew and Wes Agar here have done it for the last few years, and I think it's great fun. It's quite different cricket over there, so it's almost like you're going over there and starting again. As a bowler, you've got to bowl different lengths, and you're bowling with a Duke ball compared to the Kookaburra and whatnot. So, yeah, it's great. I'd love to get back over there, and if I get the opportunity in the next few years, I'll definitely take it. But for this off season, it's nice to have a bit of time off because, yeah, we had a pretty big year here.
And then we're seeing massive scores in the IPL, 220, so sort of, that's okay, score. As a bowler, how do you think about that now?
Yeah, it doesn't look fun. Small grounds, quick outfields, good wickets, and high scores. So as a bowler, you're probably looking at that and say, no thanks. But no, like the IPL is a great competition. It's obviously exciting to watch, and we've got a few boys over there at the moment from here. So keep a keen eye on it, definitely. But yeah, I don't mind watching from the couch at the moment with the ball flying around like it is. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. Now, I'm going to just touch on the South Australian team. You mentioned it a couple of times. Obviously, the results have gone your way through preparation 2 years in a row, and obviously big gap between drinks. But the team, the culture, the coach, the consistency, something special about that, I'd imagine, the bond as well. Can you share some insights into some of the things that maybe weren't going your way early on that now have come to fruition?
Yeah, I think hats off to the recruiting team. They probably recognised that they had to go interstate to find some talent, and probably signed a lot of guys who weren't going to go in their home state. And there was probably question marks over whether they were good enough to be first-class cricketers. And now, like, you have a look at some of the guys we signed 3 or 4 years ago, and they're stars of the competition, and some of them have played for Australia or are on the verge of playing for Australia. So I guess they realised that they had to go elsewhere to look for some, I guess, some ready-made players, and they did that. And then as a group, I think we've gelled quite well. As I said, being a high percentage of interstate players and not as many South Australians as probably what the South Australian public would have liked at the start. But I feel like we've all adopted the culture pretty well. We've bought into a common goal, which is to win Shields and bring trophies back to South Australia. So by doing that, we've got a great bond. I know over a weekend we all hang out together, and we spend a lot of time together. We all live quite close together. In pre-season, like we all train together. So I think the relationships we've built goes a long way to come round one where I guess ready to go, and we're all trying to achieve that common goal, which is well, this year win a third Shield, which would be nice.
And then when it comes to the team recognition and the individual performances, and there's obviously test selection and a lot of noise around the future of Australian cricket, when you get thrown into that mix, how do you feel? How do you cope with a little bit of individual, I suppose, accolades, and then the level of like chatter around potentially what could happen at the next level?
No, it's great. I guess when you've been spoken about to go and play at the next level, it's always nice to hear. It's better than the opposite, I think, that's for sure. But no, it's good. I think again, we've got a very sort of team first attitude here, and I think it's gone a long way. So if you ever feel yourself drifting away from that and thinking too much about what might happen, just try and pull myself back to being in the present and focusing on winning games. And I guess as I said before, when you're winning games, then you're probably performing pretty well. And then if an opportunity comes, you're probably in a good place to take it. So yeah, whatever happens in the next few years happens. But for me, and I know for us as a bowling unit, we're all pretty focused on winning games for South Australia, and then from there the rest will look after itself.
It's great to see some of the test players play in the Shield cricket before and also after the Christmas, etc. When it comes to the battles with those test cricketers playing in that comp, who are some of the players you love coming up against? You mentioned Marnus before, the challenge, the batters that you love, and also the grounds that you love playing on.
Yeah, Marnus is a good one. You obviously love going to the Gabba. It's a beautiful place to bowl at times. It was this year. We had a 2.5 day game there on a pretty green wicket, so that was good fun. And he's one you always pencil in at the start of the season. He loves playing for Queensland. He gives everything. So I love going out there and competing against him. Another one's probably Sammy Constas. We've had some moments in the past where he's got the better of me, and then I've been lucky enough to get him out a few times. So here's another one who's a young up-and-comer. He's going to be an absolute star, I think. So, but yeah, I guess any time you play against an Australian cricketer or a test player, it's a good opportunity to put your name forward and I guess performing in games where you're playing against a strong side that has Australian test representatives or whatnot. Yeah, he's quite good, definitely.
And then when it comes to the research on the batters, how in depth do you do? A lot of focus this week on the pros and cons, thanks to the Brisbane Lions thing getting leaked. But the pros and cons of the team and the batters and the research, and what data analysis do you do on? Is it each player or is it a team?
Yeah, no whiteboards here, so I think we'll steer clear of that. We obviously have our team meetings leading into the game. They're obviously, I guess they're quite focused on what we're doing, and I think if we believe if we're doing what we want to do well, that we can beat anyone. But then there's always we always touch on the batters as a bowling unit. We always touch on the batters, and if there's anything that really stands out, whether it's a different field position, for example, there was that point where Marnus had a leg gully and he kept getting caught there, and just little things like that. Curtis Patterson, leg slip as well. There was a couple little situations like that in the last few years that I can remember off the top of my head, but we tend to focus on ourselves and what we're doing a fair bit. And if we can, I guess, keep our dot ball percentage high and string battings together and all those sort of things, then doesn't really matter who we're playing against. We feel like we can get on top, definitely.
Absolutely, mate. A couple of questions I always ask my guests is, one is we talk about sport and moments in Australia. It's their all-time favourite sporting moment, and I preface this that it doesn't include yourself, because you've had a couple recently, so I'm sure they're up there, but the ones that don't include yourself.
I'll go the Hawthorn three-peat, 2013, 14, 15. Big Hawks man. My middle name's actually Dermot, after Dermot Brereton, so... Yeah, I didn't really get a choice being a kid. My whole family was Hawthorn. So, that was a great 3 years, and I remember that very vividly.
Wow. I remember the Lions one actually as well, growing up playing. I think I was playing lower grade cricket and never got to watch the finals. at the time
great.
with the Lions three-peat, but maybe they do a three-peat this year like South Australia, potentially.
Yeah, they could do.
Well. We've also got a couple of sponsors with Scoreboard, and one is SwiftX, and they're Australia's most trusted cryptocurrency platform with over 1.5 million users in Australia and New Zealand. As part of their campaign, Where Can Crypto Take You? I always ask my guests around the SwiftX Scoreboard bucket list, and this is a sporting event live that you haven't attended yet, Jordan, that you would love to attend, and why?
I've got a couple. Probably I'll go with Game 7 NBA Finals. Yeah, big Golden State man. Obviously not ideal for us this season, but yeah, I guess sport in the US is pretty cool. They get big crowds, and yeah, Game 7 will be something that I'd love to attend one day.
Mate, we've had a couple of Game 7s already in the first round. It's just the tension, the drama, everything in the Game 7s just elevates a little bit. Who do you think is the winner this year? Is OKC going back-to-back?
I think so. I'm not a big OKC fan personally, but I think they've shown they're going to be pretty hard to beat come the pointy end of the season, definitely.
What about on the East? What do you reckon, who's going to join them in the final?
Who we got? We got Boston still alive?
No, they're gone. Philadelphia took them in Game 7. We got Philadelphia, New York, Detroit.
I'd love to see the Knicks. I actually like the Knicks, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I reckon it's coming out of the West this year. I know the West when I was a little bit younger was always very strong. So yeah, I can't see anyone going past OKC.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of, if they get a few injuries, you never know on what might happen. Yep. We've also got a partner in Pocketsmith, and Pocketsmith is the personal finance app for the household CFO, the one keeping the budget in check, paying the bills and kicking goals. I've been told to update it. Now they've got over 100,000 Australian users using Pocketsmith to track their spending, see their net worth and plan ahead. And that was from 80,000 if listeners had been listening to our previous podcast. So Pocketsmith is growing in Australia. And as part of their partnership with Scoreboard, we ask our guests, do you budget, Jordan? Are you the CFO of your household?
Yeah, well, I live with a couple of teammates, but I'd like to think I am the CFO, to be honest. Obviously, we've got the bills to pay and whatnot, so they're always coming to my email and I'm trying to dish them out to them and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's pretty important to look after your money. You only get one crack at it. So yeah, for me, it's always putting money aside, knowing what I can spend, what I can't spend, and it's all going to hold me in good stead when I buy that first house, hopefully in the next year or two.
Mate, amazing. Now, the teammates that you live with, who are they?
I live with Jake Fraser McGurk and Mackenzie Harvey, both Victorian boys as well.
Yeah, there you go. And what are some sort of pet hates that you hate around your housemates, mate?
Nah, they're not too bad. Mac is pretty quiet, pretty reserved. Jake's a little bit more out there and he's up and about. And Jake's upstairs and we've got floorboards. So the poor bloke can't even walk around in the morning and he wakes the whole house up because it echoes all the way down to downstairs. So, yeah, if one thing, you can probably try and sleep in a bit longer sometimes.
And what about dinner time? Do you sort of come together and right, all right, guys, we're doing a bolognese tonight?
I reckon we're all Uber Eats Platinum Plus members. There's not a lot of cooking that goes on there. Pretty lucky my girlfriend's a great cook and I get to go over there and have dinner with her a lot. But at home, yeah, there's a few brown Uber Eats bags floating around overnight, that's for sure.
All right, we're going to try and get Uber as a sponsor on the podcast. What's the go-to restaurant? What's the go-to order Uber Eats and what's the dish?
What isn't, to be honest? Guzzi. I love a burrito bowl from Guzman and Gomez. Nando's as well. Nando's gets a great run. Whatever there, half chicken, wrap, pita. It's all great.
Nando's and Guzman, there you go. Big shout out to those two. Now, one final question. We have our scoreboard moment. It's a moment in your life that's very visual, and you can replay it 1,000 times over in your brain, and then from that moment, life changed.
Probably just the first Shield win here. Obviously, the first time South Australia had won in 30 years or 29 years it was. So you probably didn't realise coming from another state how much it meant to Adelaide and the people here. We had guys absolutely piling into Karen Rolton that afternoon when we were close to winning the game. And I guess when they stormed the field, when Jason hit the winning runs was pretty special. So I reckon I think about that moment once a week still. It was great fun. It was great to win in front of the home fans, and I'd love to go back and relive that one.
Mate, what a moment that was. Now, actually, I've got one final question around fun. Are you having fun playing cricket, mate?
Absolutely. I think it's pretty important. I think my old man always messaged me before a game. He always just says, good luck and enjoy yourself. He never says anything about the game, who you're playing, what you're doing. I think if you're enjoying yourself, you're performing well. If you're putting yourself in a position to have fun when you're playing even still professional sport, I think it holds you in great stead come them high pressure moments. You try and do it with a smile on your face.
What a way to finish, Jordan Buckingham. Thank you so much for having a chat today on Scoreboard, the podcast. I really do appreciate sharing your insights and views into your childhood and where you are and how you're going now. And congratulations on the back-to-back with South Australia. And I wish you all the best in the three-peat and the coming summer ahead.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me, Chris.
This has been another episode of Scoreboard with Chris Titley. Go back and check out some of the other episodes you might have missed.